Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 250,000 subscribers. And thanks to you, we're almost there. We're under 9,000. So hit subscribe, watch, and most importantly, share with your friends so that they're in the know, because there's a lot going on. Now, the other day on Political Beatdown, my co-host and I, Ben Meiselas, we were discussing the new end of the year report by Chief Justice Roberts. Of course, we're talking about the Supreme Court of the United States, highlighting Roberts' view of so-called attacks on the court and threats to the Supreme Court's independence. Now, you could only imagine what's going on there in the Supreme Court. The absolute lowest approval rating in history, in U.S. history, the lowest approval rating ever. Now, what Ben and I did is we analyzed Chief Justice Roberts' hypocrisy and his further appeasement of the incoming Trump administration. Play the clip.
Cohen, let me talk about this topic as well. Just pivot briefly to the annual report that was published by Chief Justice John Roberts of the United States Supreme Court. So every year there's a end of the year report that's published on New Year's Eve, and it talks about the main issues and challenges that the Supreme Court is dealing with. And when you look at what Chief Justice Roberts say are the biggest threats facing the court, he lists four things. He talks about, unfortunately, not all actors engage in informed criticism or anything resembling it. I feel compelled to address four areas of illegitimate activity that, in my view, do threaten the independence of judges on which the rule of law depends. And he goes into violence, intimidation, disinformation, and four is dealing with threats that the Supreme Court's rulings won't actually be enforced by the executive branch. When you read the beginning of his report as well, it's this whole paragraph that deals with December 1761, a little more than 1 year into what would be the 59-year reign of King George III. The king decreed that from the date forward, colonial judges were to serve at the pleasure of the crown. And so he gives this history lesson and then says, this is why we need a strong judiciary and why you shouldn't encroach on the judiciary. And I just think I wanted to bring this up because, one, you probably won't even hear about this report from any other media network other than us. So I think it's worth discussing. But also, Cohen, the irony is putting it nicely that Roberts' court, which basically, in my view, treats conservatism as conserving the king by finding that, yes, the president is above the law, by inventing a doctrine of absolute immunity, is listing these things. And each of these things so clearly is either a veiled reference to Donald Trump and what the MAGA movement is doing, or not so veiled. And it's like, really, Roberts, that's your message after?
Where was Justice Roberts when I put my writ of certiorari in as the only and certainly the first American citizen to be held by my own country because I refused to waive my First Amendment constitutional right? Why didn't they want to hear that case? So all of a sudden, now he cares. You know why he cares? Because he sees the danger of this incoming administration that the executive branch intends to do away with not just the legislative branch, but the judiciary. You've heard me say this before. It is part of Project 2025. It is part of what the Heritage Foundation wants to do. There's not going to be judges. You won't need judges. It will all be decided by the executive branch. All power will be conferred to the executive branch. So what's the benefit to be a Supreme Court? What's the benefit? There will be no Supreme Court. There will be no House. There will be no Senate. Everything will run out of the executive branch, and all power will be conferred to the chief executive, who, of course, is the president of the United States. These are not my words. These are the words of the president-elect, who said that he wanted to, on day number one, rewrite the Constitution, to do exactly what I just said, to destroy, to pull apart our tripartite system of government. Now, do I think that that's possible? No. Do I think there's a 1% or a 2% chance that it could happen? Sure. I won't say it's absolutely 100% impossible. It's quite unlikely. But even for 1% should send chills running down the back of your neck. That is the essence of our Constitution. It is the essence of our democratic republic. I mean, look, many people turn around and say, how come you're taking a softer approach? You were much harsher during the campaign. Well, of course, because you're campaigning. No matter what I say right now, all I can do is tell you facts and tell you, as you're going to hear in my upcoming Mea Culpa podcast in the introduction, where I turn around and I say to you, we as a community must be together. I can't do this alone. I and Ben cannot do it alone. Democracy is not a two-person sport. It is a team sport. And together, as we continue to grow, not just Political Beatdown with our brigaders, but not just the Mea Culpa, fans and supporters, but the entire Midas Touch network, as we continue to grow it, and our community grows bigger and bigger and bigger every single week. The beauty is it is now a team sport. So if in fact things start going the wrong way, and I think we have to anticipate that it probably will, I can't say for certain, but there's a better than likely chance things will go awry. We have our community, not just for the emotional support, but in order to ensure that the rules that are laid out for us in the Constitution are not ignored, and that our members of Congress do not ignore them.
Michael Cohen, who are you going to give that two-finger salute to?
I think it has to go to Fox News for that absolute lie and the report to which that they gave, as well as to those in the transition team around Trump who literally did nothing. Yeah. I mean, this was just absolutely horrific. And you know what? Shame on Fox News. Just honestly, shame on them. So Fox News, to you and to all of you folks that are there that just keep allowing this misinformation to be regurgitated again and again and again, two-finger salute to you. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.